Daytona 500 returns to Fox this February.
National Football League.
There's our matchup, all funkified for you on this Sunday. Let's go down to the third member of our team. Here's Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, the Bears have really circled the wagon where their beleaguered quarterback is concerned. Muhsin Muhammad said he thinks the kid is going to do great. Grab some popcorn, he said. Enjoy the show. Rex Grossman himself told me that he is feeling excited, great, confidence. Meantime, as the Bears came out on the field, one of the players said to me, Pam, don't be surprised if we dominate. Now for more on the Seahawks, let's go over to Chris Myers, who's with Mike Holmgren.
All right, thanks, Pam. Right now, Coach, it's just cold. It could get windy and wet a little later. Do you coach differently in these conditions?
Well, if it gets wet, I think we're used to that. If it gets real windy, then you have to adjust in kicking and throwing.
All right, defending Super Bowl champs, heavy underdogs. Do you use that in this game with your team?
I've used it all week. You know, we deserve to be here. Now, we know we're playing a great football team, but we're going to give it a good go.
All right, good luck. Stay warm.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, Mike Holmgren, 2 more wins. He'll be back at another Super Bowl, Joe.
All right, yeah, thank you, Chris, and we'll check on Chris and Pam during the course of the day. The field has been resodded. The middle portion of it was prior to their final game of the regular season against Green Bay. Now the entire field has been resodded. Footing still can be treacherous. It has been wet.
And in a lot of ways, this is more Seattle Seahawk weather than it is Bear weather.
Kind of a squib kick as they try desperately to keep the ball out of the hands of Devin Hester, and it goes through the end zone instead of out of bounds, and that's a 20-yard difference. You almost have to have Barry Bonds type rules for Devin Hester. Don't let him beat you. Don't give him a fat fastball. He can hit it out of the park. Here's Rex Grossman. How is his day going to start, and how does he balance, Troy, staying aggressive but not doing too much and making that critical mistake?
Well, what he's going to try to do, Joe, is wait and see how the game unfolds. Early on, he doesn't want to try to force anything, any gray area on the throws. He wants to come down to his check down.
Bears start with a run, and it's Thomas Jones who pushes forward for 1.5 yards. They've got a very good offensive line here in Chicago, and it's anchored by the first-team All-Pro center Olin Kreutz. And then you get into the backs and receivers, and a big difference that nobody talks about, Troy, is the emergence of Cedric Benson, who's not listed there, but definitely a 1A type threat as a running back for Chicago.
And a lot of people think that the reason his carries went up in the last part of the season was to rest Thomas Jones. He's earned the right to play and will play a lot today.
Grossman will start 1 for 1 as he hits Bernard Berrien. 5-yard gain. A manageable 3rd down and short coming up. This is not a big defensive line. They lost their biggest body in the middle. Marcus Tubbs went on IR, a 324-pound defensive tackle. So, as Mike Holmgren says, we make up for our lack of size with speed and technique. And there's the banged-up secondary. Kelly Jennings is the rookie, and they're really leaning on him today. 3rd and 3. Hand off. First down. Thomas Jones picked up 5.
Well, already we've seen what Ron Turner, the offensive coordinator, how he wants to approach this ball game early. They come out, they run the ball on 1st down, make a conservative 2nd down throw, and then on 3rd and 3, give the ball to Jones for the 1st down.
A little end around. That's Davis, and Rasheed Davis with Kreutz out in front of him, and Berrien blocking. Picks up 8.5 yards. You know, we talk about this secondary, and we can't act as though people are aware of what's going on, but this is a secondary for Seattle that has on IR Kelly Herndon and Jimmy Williams. They lost Mike Green, a former Bear, as safety in the preseason. Marcus Trufant is not active with a high right ankle sprain. And so they've been signing guys off the street to play cornerback. It was good enough against Dallas. Will it be good enough against Chicago? 2nd and 1. Jones goes sideways and well played. He's going to be a yard short of a first down. Leroy Hill out there to make the stop, 3rd and short.
You know, Joe, and I think if you look back on that Seattle win last week against Dallas, Dallas never went after this secondary. They had opportunities. It looked like there was a lot of air out there in the secondary for some big plays, but Dallas just never was able to take advantage of it. Instead, they tended to run the football a little bit more. As you said, this is an undersized group, but I do think that there are some opportunities for big plays if Chicago's willing to take them.
On 3rd and 1, first down again, Thomas Jones. Picked up 7 on 3rd and 1, and this offensive line is moving guys out for Chicago.
This offensive line is a very good group, and they have been all season long. They do a great job of handling the various twists and stunts, and you don't have to give Thomas Jones much of a crease in order for him to get inside of that and pick up some pretty good yardage.
Bears have run 6 plays. This is only the 2nd pass, and it's high and off the left hand of McKee, the fullback. 2nd and 10. Really, you can look at the way the Bears played, and you think of Chicago, you think about their defense, and their defense struggled the last month of the season. And then you saw a shot of Mike Holmgren. He's not all that pleased without his quarterback, Matt Hasselbeck, who has more experience in Grossman, but the way Hasselbeck has played over the last month is coming back off a knee injury. 2nd and 10, and the handoff to Thomas Jones. He gets back to the line of scrimmage, and he's brought down by Leroy Hill. 3rd and 10.
You know, it's rare, Joe, that you go into a playoff game where you have quarterbacks that haven't played particularly well. And you're right. I mean, there's no question Rex Grossman, it's been well documented for the last several weeks that he's not played real consistent, but Matt Hasselbeck hasn't either since he's come off of his injury. I know in talking with Rex Grossman, he said his approach today isn't to try to prove the critics wrong. He just wants to try to find a way to win a playoff game for the Chicago Bears.
3rd down and 10. Over the middle. Davis, what a catch. Rasheed Davis took it away from the defense down to the 15. 37 yards on 3rd and 10.
Great throw there by Rex Grossman, and it's the inside guy going down the middle versus this 2 deep man under. And Jordan Babineau, he was in great position to come down with the ball. You see there, went right through his hands. And a good job by Rasheed Davis just continuing to concentrate on that and haul it in. A missed opportunity for Jordan Babineau on the interception.
From the 15, Thomas Jones gets it down to the 13. Leroy Hill on the stop. And here's the up and down year for Rex Grossman. 7 starts with a quarterback rating of 100 or better. That's the 2nd most in the NFL to Mark Bulger of the Rams. However, 5 starts with a quarterback rating of 40 or under, including a rating of 0 in the last regular season game here against Green Bay. He played 3 decent games, hadn't turned it over. Played the Packers through 3 interceptions and only 2 completions. Jones down inside the 10. Bernard on the stop. 3rd down for Chicago.
Well, what a missed opportunity for Seattle. Can you imagine what would happen to this stadium if Jordan Babineau had been able to haul that one in on the interception and kill this drive, or what it might have done to Rex Grossman's confidence. I do know this, in talking with Mike Holmgren, he said it's absolutely imperative that this defense be able to stop the run. They definitely want to put the ball into Rex Grossman's hands here today.
3rd down and 4. They stay with it on the ground, and Jones cruises in for the touchdown.
It's a great drive by the Chicago Bears, being able to take the opening possession and methodically drive it down the field, capped off by the touchdown of Thomas Jones, doing a good job of mixing in the run and the pass, predominantly running on that series. That had to have settled down Rex Grossman.
What a good block by the tight end Desmond Clark. 7-0. Rasheed Davis on an end around and one big catch. One huge completion from Grossman. A lot of Thomas Jones and an early 7-0 lead for the Bears.
Oh, honey, I told the neighbors we'd feed their pets while they're away.
Oh, okay, sweetie. Oh, no. Ooh.
Are sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 41.
Impressive opening drive for Chicago. 12 plays, 80 yards, 6.5 minutes off the clock. Thomas Jones banged it in from 9 yards out. And Rasheed Davis with an end around and a big catch on 3rd and 10. Helping to set it up. Now Gold kicks it away. Burleson waiting for it at his own 6. Nate gets to the edge, has a block. Good return for Seattle as Burleson is forced out. There are no flags on the field, and the Seahawks will start at their own 47. Good start, Chicago. A missed opportunity for Jordan Babineau. Would have stopped the drive and maybe hurt the confidence of Grossman. Thomas Jones in for the score. 7-0 Bears.
Are sponsored by Verizon Wireless. Watch John Madden break down the games exclusively on VCast, only from Verizon Wireless.
7-0 Chicago on top. Nate Burleson with a 41-yard kick return, starting at their own 47 of the Seahawks. Hasselbeck told us they're going to come out throwing. They start with a throw, and it's behind Jackson. 2nd and 10. The offensive line, they've had a lot of players coming and going. 8 different starting combinations. They've settled on one now, with Spencer in the middle and the rookie Rob Sims at left guard. And then it's been a year, Troy, for Hasselbeck where he doesn't know who's going to line up on the outside for him.
And that's one of the reasons why Matt Hasselbeck's play all season has been relatively inconsistent due to all the changes that are made in that offensive group.
This is Alexander, and Sean Alexander runs into the body of Harris. No gain, 3rd and 10. Chris Harris, who's making the start at strong safety for Todd Johnson. And those two guys are trying to fill in for Mike Brown, who was available to the Bears the first time these two teams played. There's Mike, a big presence, lacking in the secondary for Chicago.
Yeah, and I don't know that they've ever really been able to replace Mike Brown. Of course, you don't replace an all-pro player, but you know, his loss has been a big factor as to why this team struggled down the stretch.
Out of the shotgun, quick throw. Tillman bats it to Jackson. And Jackson is going to be marked out short of 1st down yardage. Tillman was thinking touchdown. Off his chest into the gut of Darrell Jackson. And it's going to be 4th down.
Yeah, Ricky Manning, he comes off the edge, and so Matt Hasselbeck has to get the ball out quick. Of course, the defensive back, Charles Tillman, knows that, so he's sitting on the route. He undercuts Darrell Jackson, and he missed a great opportunity as well. If he makes that catch, he's running it all the way for 6 points. And now both teams have missed on opportunities for interceptions.
It's rookie on rookie here. Plaquemire punting for Seattle as the Seahawks are a yard short of a 1st down. He tilts the nose of the football down, and Hester will let it bounce out of bounds. Good punt by Ryan Plaquemire. They're going to mark it out at the 7. That's where the Bears have it as they lead Seattle 7-0.
Ford Fusion. Bold moves, they happen every day. By Visa, go on, live life, and remember that no matter what it takes, life takes Visa. By Universal Pictures' Smoking Aces, 7 hitmen, 1 target in theaters January 26th. And by Dell. We don't make technology for just anyone, we make it for only one you. Dell, purely you.
You make your way through this great city in the middle of America and go by the lakefront. You find Soldier Field, where the hometown Bears lead 7-0. Opening possession, Thomas Jones, 8 carries, 29 yards, a 9-yard touchdown run. 6 of the 9 plays called by Ron Turner of the Bears were running plays. Now 7 of 10. And Thomas Jones picks up 4, brought down by Hill. And here is that drive. A lot of this guy. And good work up front, Troy, by this offensive line.
Well, I mean, when you're coming into a game like this, and as a quarterback, when you're a little unsettled, the best thing that you can do then as an offense is be able to run the ball effectively. That takes a great deal of the pressure then off the quarterback, and that's exactly what the Bears were able to do there in that first drive.
Talking to John Marshall, the defensive coordinator for Seattle. As Grossman hands off to Thomas Jones, who drags Peterson for another yard, a gain of 4. John Marshall said, we've got to come after Grossman. We've got to blitz him. We've got to come up the middle. We have to get somebody in his face to bother him every time he drops back.
Yeah, he made it very clear that he knows exactly what he's dealing with Rex Grossman and the struggles that he has had. And so what he wants to do is shut down the run. They've not been able to do that real well yet. Get pressure on Grossman inside and force him to throw the ball.
Throwing on 3rd and 2, and the pass caught for a first down. That's Muhammad. Bears have been perfect on 3rd down so far today. 8 yards to Muhammad, his first catch.
Yeah, Rex Grossman, you can tell right now he's throwing the ball with pretty good confidence. He's not sitting in the pocket waiting. He's hitting his back foot. He's getting the ball out. For the most part, those throws have been shorter throws, trying to get him into some type of rhythm, but he has made good decisions so far.
Throw on first down, Berrien. Didn't make it to the 30, picked up 6.
You know, they'll keep throwing these types of routes and staying ahead of the chains. And what I mean by that is then now on 2nd down, you're able to either run the ball or you're able to come off of that with some play action. And so with this down in distance, 2nd and 3, it gives Ron Turner, the offensive coordinator, a lot of things to choose from.
Hand off to Thomas Jones, and what a good play. Hill again. We've said his name already 4 or 5 times. Here are the 2 possessions, and Thomas Jones and Leroy Hill are going to be banging into each other all day.
And right now, Joe, on 3rd down, I mean, these downs, and it's true during the regular season, it's even more true when you get into the playoffs. As you can see, the Bears 5 for 5 on 3rd downs in this game already. Last week, Seattle defensively did a great job against Dallas, stopping them on 3rd downs. And by doing that, then you give the ball back to your offense with good position.
Grossman on 3rd down is blitzed and loses the football, but it's an incomplete pass. His arm was going forward. Jordan Babineau, who almost had a pick earlier, comes in off the edge and plasters Rex Grossman.
Yeah, I'm not sure Rex Grossman ever saw him. He's fortunate that the arm was going forward and getting the incomplete ruling. I'm not sure that he was trying to actually throw the ball at the time that the ball came out.
You can see him clutching for it, and that is to the letter of the rule that if the arm's going forward and the ball is controlled, it's considered an incomplete pass. Very nearly a deadly fumble. Burleson on the return, can't make a move and get around Dante Wesley. 42-yard punt, nothing on the return. An early sack of Grossman. Seahawks have it down 7. It's a 7-0 Chicago lead. Seattle has the ball at their own 29. And now that defense, which really struggled the last 4 games of the regular season, back to work. Blitz coming from the Bears. Seahawks pick it up, and the pass complete to Jackson. Not touched until he rolls forward to the 47, 24 yards from Matt Hasselbeck.
You know, Daryl Jackson, he's playing with that toe injury. Nobody's real certain as to how long he'll be able to play today, but he looks good on this route. It's just right up the seam. I'm not so sure he got what he does there, but a good job of getting over there and then getting him down. Initially, it did not look like he was touched, but as you said, Joe, the Bears brought pressure. Lance Briggs, the linebacker, came inside, but Matt Hasselbeck read it and delivered a good ball.
Hasselbeck wanted the officials to restart the play clock. They don't. Underneath, it's Will Heller, backup tight end, a yard shy of a first down. Hasselbeck, who has a couple of broken fingers on his left hand, is having a tough time after that little push from in front and behind. He might have landed on that hand.
I think he did, Joe. You could tell even before he went to the ground, he's trying to protect that left hand. It is very sore. We saw it the other day, and he keeps him taped, but no question it hurt him there.
Sean Alexander picks up a first down for Seattle.
You know, Matt Hasselbeck, he's had a variety of injuries this year. Of course, we all know about the knee injury that he suffered that knocked him out of 4 ball games there in the middle of the season. But even before that, I know we had a game of Seattle's earlier in the season. He had some bruised ribs that he was playing with. That was affecting his play. Now he's got this hand. He's trying to fight through it all. He certainly doesn't make any excuses as that being a reason as to why he hasn't played better.
On first down, Alexander slides down. That was the footing that caused that stop. Just back to the line of scrimmage, and let's look at the defense for Chicago. This was the #1 defense early in the season. Then they started to taper off. I think this group, Troy, really needed the bye week to rest up. They get Tillman back as you look at the Pro Bowlers at the linebacking position. And with Tillman coming back after back spasms, missing a couple of games, it allows Ricky Manning Jr. to play in the slot, which is where they're best.
Yeah, and we've already seen him coming off the edge and showing how much it helps him being in the slot.
2nd and 10. The pass is out of the reach of Branch. You know, the funny thing for Hasselbeck is he's wearing a glove on his left hand because he's got those fingers taped up. But his head coach, Mike Holmgren, will not let him wear a glove on his throwing hand. And that dates back to Holmgren's early career with Joe Montana with the San Francisco 49ers.
Which is why he's wearing the pouch now. Matt Hasselbeck said they had a cold day in Seattle. He put the glove on, and Holmgren told him to take it off before the practice ever started.
3rd and 10. Pressure. Completion. Jackson again. And so Daryl Jackson, who's got the bad toe, did not make a catch against the Cowboys last week, has been involved. First down, Seattle.
Well, the Bears bring pressure. They bring the corner blitz. Nathan Basher off the edge. Lance Briggs up inside. No question, Lovie Smith sticking to the game plan of having to get pressure on Matt Hasselbeck, but he hung in there, and he's able to get Charles Tillman off of Daryl Jackson and then delivers a pretty good ball for Jackson to come back and make the catch.
On first down, Hasselbeck, end zone, and he overshoots everybody, and they are really coming after Hasselbeck. Meanwhile, Tillman, Troy, is a guy who struggled last year in the playoffs against Steve Smith as he ran through this good Chicago defense for 218 yards.
Yeah, and Charles Tillman had to live with that throughout the entire offseason. And yet he came back this year, and he's played exceptionally well. They worked on his technique. They felt he was guessing too much on the routes, and I really feel that he had a Pro Bowl type season.
Alexander on 2nd and 10. With the game clock under half a minute, the Seahawks, if they don't want to, don't have to run another play before the end of the first quarter. Alexander got 6. And it will be 3rd down and 4. With the second quarter about to begin. That'll do it for one. Bears took the opening kickoff down the field. That man Jones was in from 9 for the touchdown. But now it's Seattle marching. knocking on the door. 7-0 Chicago. Back after this. Down and 4 at the Chicago 16. This is the 9th play of the drive for Seattle as the second quarter begins. Down by 7 are the Seahawks. Hasselbeck steps up and finds a wide open Burleson, and he is in for the touchdown. Nate Burleson, and a drive that was dominated, Troy, by the pass, gets Seattle down the field and into the end zone.
Yeah, and that's that hole within that two-deep scheme that Chicago likes to run. You're going to see the hole. Nathan Vasher lets him go and turns him loose then to the safety. The safety playing deep. But that's the hole that the receiver can get into and find a spot for the ball to be received, and he's able to do it and then turn it up the field for the touchdown.
A 9-play drive. 6 of the plays were passes, and Burleson, who had only 2 touchdowns during the regular season, gets his second career postseason touchdown, and the game is tied. Disappointing regular season for Nate Burleson, who turned into more of a return man than a threat on the outside for Hasselbeck. Makes the catch, launches himself into the end zone, and with this, the Seahawks have tied it early second quarter in Chicago. Mike Holmgren is an experienced head coach. He's guided the Seahawks to 6 postseason games the last 3 years. Overall 12-9 in his career in the postseason. His team has tied it here 7-7. Devin Hester, they kept it away from him the first time. And the Pro Bowler, all pro, shows what he can do. Gets an extra hit late, no flag. Crowd wants it, they don't get it, and after all that, it's a 20-yard return for Hester. So now Grossman back to work, and we'll talk about the other side for a second. Seahawks came into this game believing they could throw on this Bears defense, and it looks like, at least here early, they were right.
Yeah, I mean, so much of what they wanted to do earlier in the season was get into some of their 3-wide packages. Because of the injuries, they've not been able to do that, but now they can today, and they feel good about that. Now Chicago, they want to be able to get pressure on Hasselbeck with their front 4. So far they've not been able to do that, and they've had to bring pressure, and because of that, it's opened up some holes.
And now we focus back on Grossman, who has all day and goes deep. Berrien down the middle. Hit in stride. Touchdown Chicago. No flags. Troy, this guy is under the microscope, no doubt, but that throw, that was a wow throw from Rex Grossman, hitting Berrien for 68 yards, a touchdown. And in one play, the Bears regain the lead.
Well, in order to get a throw off like that, you've got to have pretty good protection up front. I talked a little bit earlier about the job that this offensive line has done. Well, they do it again here, which was vital. Rex Grossman, you see the clean pocket. He's able to step up and make a good throw. And on the outside, Bernard Berrien, who had not been creating a lot of big plays over the last couple of weeks, just runs right by the rookie, Kelly Jennings. There's nobody in the middle of the field to help take away that deep post. You know, and these are the types of plays that you've got to be able to make if you're going to be able to score points. And when you get a shot, you got to complete it, and that's what they just did.
Let's look at it from the other side. If you're Seattle, you have to be thinking, well, finally somebody found the holes in our secondary. I think when you talk to the Seahawks, they're stunned that Dallas didn't take more shots down the field last week, and they feel like they got away with the game because Dallas just kept it tight and around the line of scrimmage. Now here's Grossman making a beautiful throw, showing great arm strength, and hitting Berrien in stride for a 68-yard touchdown.
Well, that will create some concern for this defensive staff of the Seattle Seahawks, seeing Rex Grossman deliver a strike for a big play touchdown.
That was the second longest pass in Bears postseason history. Now Burleson trying to give a big one back to Seattle. Good return by Nate Burleson. He has a touchdown and 2 big returns. This one 29 yards, brought down by Wesley. Well, congratulations to the New Orleans Saints and head coach Sean Payton. They will be in the NFC Championship game for the first time in franchise history, only their second playoff win, and they will play the winner of this game. Grossman all smiles. He hopes that it's the Saints at Chicago here next Sunday.
Yeah, and I'd also like to say congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles at 5-6 for them to make it into the playoffs, win the NFC East, win the first round against the Giants. Really a good job by Andy Reid and that entire staff.
Here's Alexander trying to bounce it to the outside, and it was Todd Johnson up to make the stop. A loss of 2. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Yeah, Joe, we've been talking about teammates rallying around Rex Grossman in a mixture of relief and excitement. There wasn't a player or assistant who did not walk over to Grossman and give him a bear hug or a pat on the helmet or a pat on the backside. It was exciting for them, and they are, I think, turning that corner on their confidence with this guy once again. Back to you.
Yeah, Pam, and for good reason. I mean, they're going to have to ride this guy and take advantage of being the #1 seed and hope he can get them into the Super Bowl. Urlacher over the middle takes care of Deion Branch, a gain of 5.
And the one thing about it is this coaching staff will tell you that they have a pretty good idea early in games as to how Rex Grossman is going to play. When he has struggled early and struggled throughout games. When he's played well early, and he's played well throughout the games. Right now, obviously, he's playing good football. I've got to believe his staff now will open things up more even as they move through the rest of this ball game, and he's got to be feeling awfully good about himself right now also.
3rd and 7 for Seattle. Pressure from Tank Johnson doesn't get there, and Urlacher knocks it away. That's what separates Urlacher from the rest of them. He can play the run, and he can get back in coverage down the middle of the field.
Well, you're going to see him. He's right here in the middle, and it's at 2 deep. And once he reads pass, then he's going to carry whoever the receiver is that's going down the middle. I mean, shoot, he's running stride for stride there with Darrell Jackson. And if Brian Urlacher had not have gotten a hand on the ball, Chris Harris was going to make the interception.
Blackmeyer to punt. Devin Hester, fair catch. Lunging at the 30. Urlacher huffing and puffing. He's the first-team All-Pro middle linebacker, and now Grossman back to work.
By McDonald's. By the terrifying new thriller The Hitcher from the producers of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, in theaters everywhere January 19th. By Chevrolet, An American Revolution. And by Budweiser. Bright, crisp, clean, pure. This is Budweiser. This is beer.
Snapshots of what has transpired here in a quarter plus. 12:59 left in the first half, and Grossman fresh off that 68-yard touchdown throw. Back with his 7-point lead, hands to Cedric Benson. Cedric Benson picks up 11. Hamlin on the stop, and we go back to Brian Urlacher.
Yeah, you watch the cat and mouse game going on between him and Matt Hasselbeck. Matt Hasselbeck signaling outside to his wide receivers, and then Brian Urlacher signaling and getting his own defense set up. And then you see the speed for a big guy. I mean, this 260-pounder can really run. And when you've got a guy in the middle that can run like that from sideline to sideline and get underneath the deeper throws, you can do a lot of different things within your schemes.
Okay, it's over.
Benson again. This time he gets 2. When we talked to Matt Hasselbeck, he almost marveled at how Brian Urlacher will audible at the middle linebacker position. You always hear it about quarterbacks that get to the line, but he said Urlacher, he'll audible depending on what we do, and he is the guy getting this defense in position to make plays.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting in talking to Urlacher. He says he doesn't study as much film now as what he did earlier in his career, because when he studied film, he said he found that he was guessing too much. Now he just wants to react and be a little more instinctive.
This pass is too far and out of the reach of Mark Bradley. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
So this possession here for Seattle defensively is very important, because even though Chicago defensively has had some problems here as of late being able to stop teams, you don't want to get too far behind against this unit, because they'll start bringing pressure in a lot of different areas, and I don't think that it's a defense that you're going to have much success coming back from if you're down 14 or more points.
Third down and 8. Pressure. The pass is incomplete, and it was to Tupu coming on a blitz. Julian Peterson in there as well, and Muhammad was underthrown. Grossman just did not have the time.
Well, Lofa Tatupu, he's normally in the middle, but now he moves over to the outside. And again, Rex Grossman just does not see the blitz coming. And I'm not certain as to whether or not there should have been protection that picked him up, but that's now a couple of times Seattle's brought people and Grossman's not seeing the blitz.
Maynard hits an ugly punt, and it checks up at the 25. It'll roll to the 24, and that's where Matt Hasselbeck and the offense for Seattle will set up. 32-yard punt. Seahawks have it, down 7. Seahawks will start at their own 24, down a touchdown. A little pump from Hasselbeck, and underneath it's Alexander. Sean Alexander picks up 12. Urlacher on the stop, and let's check in with Chris Myers.
Joe, Sean Alexander's wearing a customized cleat. They're all going, the team is going with a 5/8 inch up from the normal 1/2 inch, but he has a 3/4 inch, a 3-pronged cleat on the front of his shoe to help him get better grip. So far in this game, though, he's been frustrated by the Bears defense, not the field.
I wish I knew which was longer, 3/8 or a 1/2 or 5/8. Here's Heller, makes the catch, spins forward, picks up 2. You played in the NFL. What's longer, a 1/2 or 5/8? Or
5/8 is a little longer there, Joe. Yeah, I'll tell you, speaking of Sean Alexander, he's not gotten a lot out of the running game so far in this game, and Seattle last year, when you think about how well he ran the ball a year ago and how much he was a part of this success and them going on to the Super Bowl, and he just has not been healthy. He hasn't been healthy really since the first game of the season against Detroit when he injured that foot, and they really need him.
Here's Maurice Morris. He's dragged down almost immediately, and making the play was Ricky Manning Jr. It just points out, Troy, how short the time on the top of the mountain typically is for these running backs in the NFL. A couple years ago, Priest Holmes was the guy last year, Sean Alexander, and now, after the injury-filled season, under 1,000 yards rushing, it's LaDainian Tomlinson, who is easily the top back in the NFL.
Well, he's been awfully special all season long, and Sean Alexander, and as Mike Holmgren said, it's really been somewhat of a wasted year for him.
3rd and 7. A blitz from the Bears. Hasselbeck fires and hits Jackson. The ball is bobbled but caught at midfield. Now they wave it off. By the time Jackson controlled it, he was out of bounds, and one official overruled the other. It's 4th down.
Well, let's see what happened here. A ball that's just a little bit behind, but a ball that Darrell Jackson should have caught. I mean, Seattle, it's not just this year or just not in previous years. Over the last several seasons, these wide receivers have dropped more balls than any team in the National Football League, and that was a big drop because it would have been a 1st down.
3rd punt for Plaquemire. Adrian Peterson almost got in there to block it, and now Hester almost makes a critical mistake. He touched it. It was a live ball. He got back on top of it, and that will